Hi friends, next topics we are going to discuss about it is life cycle in algae. What is life cycle? The sequence of events that start from plants from one generation to end in this development's next generation with the development of similar plant in the next generation. Once again repeating, the sequence of event that start from the plants one generation and ends in the developments of similar plants in the next generation, which is also called as life cycle. There are five main types of life cycle which is occur in algae. First one is Haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle, second one. Third one is diplohaplotic life cycle. Diplohaplotic life cycle further divided into two categories. One is isomorphic diplohaplotic. Second one is heteromorphic diplohaplotic. Fourth type is haplobiontic life cycle and diplobiontic life cycle. Now we are going to see each type of life cycle going to detailed study. This life cycle, which is helpful for growth and development, consists of number of morphological and cytological stages which is occur in the sequential order to change in the organism, which is also called life cycle. So life cycle, they have it is from a gametes forms, and after gametes it is fusions, then zygote form. The zygote which is converted into one generation to another generation through haploid gametes. So there are five types of life cycle which is occur in this one. So first one is Haplontic life cycle. For example, look at the diagram. That is a gametes. They can produce male gametes and female gametes. Only this fusion alone, okay. So the diploid sporophytic stage restricted only zygote. After that meiosis, they can reproduce zoospore. It is also haploid nature. So entire life cycle which is formed in haploidic life cycle. So what is haplontic life cycle? It's a most common life cycle in algae. Very common, this life cycle. And this the haplontic life cycle, okay, and also very simplest life cycle. So life cycle is diphasic nature. What do you mean diphasic? Two phase in natures. So predominant page, most of this phase, it's a haploid gametic phase. And this diploid, or which is also called sporophytic phase in the life cycle, only represented in the form of zygote. Zygote, it's formed fusion of male gametes and female gametes together. Zygote, after zygote formation, they are immediately undergo meiosis. They can produce haploid spores. So this haploid zoospores, okay, they can germinate and grow by the process of mitotic and produce haploid gametophytic generations. So gametophytic plant produce male and female gametes. Very simple primitive life cycle, which is very common in Chlamydomonas, Eulothrix, Psychonema, Spirogyra, which is occur. So this Haplontic life cycle which is occur in unicellular organism also and multicellular organism also. So unicellular, like it is Chlamydomonas which is occur, multicellular like it's Eudoconium also which is occur. So very simple, primitive. They have a diphasic. One is gametophytic phase, another one is sporophytic phase. So after zygote formation, so the male and female, so they are immediately undergo meiosis. They can reproduce zoospore. It is further they grow into the haploid gametophyte. So which is very common in Chlamydomonas and Eulothrix. So Chlamydomonas, it's a unicellular haplontic life cycle, multicellular haplontic life cycle which is occur in Eudoconium. Next topic we are going to study this type of life cycle is diplontic life cycle. Haplontic life cycle, they have a haploidic phase, diphasic in nature, very simple. unicellular, which is present in this Chlamydomonas, multicellular, which is present in Eudoconium. So they are only the zygote formation alone, it's a porophytic. Rest of the time immediately they could for meiosis, they can produce zoospores. The second type of life cycle is diplontic life cycle. When you look at the pictures, okay, so male and female gametes alone, it is can in natures. Zygote form double nature, and after the zygote it's converted into sporophyte, then meiosis. Okay, this is a diplontic life cycle. So this type, it is a reversal of this haplontic, just reverse order of haplontic life cycle. So life cycle here also diphasic in nature. Two types of prominent base of diploid sporophytic phase and haploid gametophyte cycle, which is occur in the represent only the formation of gametes alone. So two phase, one is prominent phase in diploid sporophytic phase and haploid gametophytic phase in the life cycle represented only the gametes. Here that gametes, it produce gametangia by the process of meiosis or reduction divisions. Moreover, the zygote do not undergo meiosis, rather they develop into diploid sporophytic phase by mitosis process, which is very common in sarcasm, codium, brevibus, pucus. So once again I am simplifying this diplontic life cycle. It is reversal of this haplontic life cycle. Diphasic nature, prominent diploid sporophytic phase, haploid gametophytic phase in the life cycle represented only one gamete formation alone. Here the gametes produced by this meiosis process. Moreover, the zygote do not undergo meiosis process, rather they develop into diploid sporophytic by the process of mitosis. So which is very common in sarcasm and codium and preopsis and fucus. So third type of life cycle is haplodiplontic or diplohaplontic life cycle. The life cycle is diphasic in nature. One phase it's gametophytic and other one is diploid, one is it is a porophytic ones. So half of the life cycle which is form a haplontic life cycle. So the blue color which is source, it is a haplontic one. The red color which is source, it's a diplontic one. So half of the life cycle which is from a gametophytic nature, half of the life cycle which is also formed a diploid sporophytic generations. So the gametophytes, they can produce male gametes and female gametes. After the production of male gametes and female gametes, they have a fusion, that is from a zygote to a nature. After zygote formation, that form a, through again mitosis process, they can produce a sporophyte. Then sporophyte, which can convert it into the reduction division, they can produce a zoospore. The zoospore which can form a gametangia. This is the way the haplontic life cycle which is occur. So there is diplontic life cycle. So there is a sporophytic plant produce sporangia which produce haploid zoospore by meiosis. Zoospore develop into haploid gametophytic generations. Gametes produce only gametes. Okay, gametophytes produce gametes. So the fusion of male and female gametes to form a diploid zygotes. So here and this haplodiplontic life cycle further they divide into two categories. One is isomorphic haplodiplontic, another one is heteromorphic haplodiplontic. Isomorphic haplodiplontic life cycle, gametophytic and sporophytic plants are morphologically similar, which is present in alva and this Chaetophora. So the gametophyte and sporophytic plants morphologically similar. The second one is heteromorphic haplodiplontic. Gametophyte and sporophyte, they are morphologically dissimilar, which is present in laminaria and urospora. So this is next fourth type of haplobiontic life cycle. Here this life cycle is triphasic nature. What do you mean triphasic? Three phase. Previously either it is haplontic or diplontic or it is haplodiplontic. They have two phase. Here they have a triphasic nature. In this what will happens, there will be three phases of life cycle: one diploid, two haploid. One diploid in nature, then two other haploid in nature. So three phases are gametophytic phase N, it's a haploid phase, and zygote is a diploid phase, and carbosporophyte phase is a haploid phase 2. The first phase, it is a gametophyte phase, which is N, and zygote, it is diploid 1, this is called 2N. Carbosporophyte after zygote formation, which is also called N in nature. So haplontic life cycle, haplobiontic life cycle, which is very common in rhodophysi member. For example, petrosperma. So that gametophytes produce, it's a haploid gametes. So male and female gametes fuse to form a zygote, then only they form a diploid zygote. After zygote, they can form a reduction divisions. They move this haploid spore, germinate into intermediate haploid, which is also called carbosporophyte. Then carbosporophyte reproduce asexually and produce a carbospore. So carbospore germinate into developed of haploid gametophytic generations. So these are the haplontic life cycle. See, it's a gametophyte. They can produce through male and female. It's a gametes. Then it is from a diploid nicotes, and after diploid they can produce meiosis. It's from a carbosporophyte. From this carbosporophyte they can produce carbospore. This is a haplobiontic life cycle which is occur in petrosperma. So the next one is this next one is diplobiontic. So diplobiontic, it is also called as, they have a triphasic in natures. Among this, what will happen, diplobiontic, they have two diploid in nature, one haploid in nature. Two diploid, one haploid in nature. What will happen similarly? So they can produce male gametes and female gametes. After they can form a zygote, and they can, after zygote they form a carbosporophyte. So after this carbosporophyte, okay, so they can form a carbosporophyte, okay, zygote at a 2 in nature, then it is form a meiosis, then it is form a carbosporophyte, okay. So that is carbosporophyte, it is converted into tetrasporophyte, okay. That's carbosporophyte, it converted into tetrasporophyte. Then tetrasporophyte, it converted into tetraspore. Tetraspore, it's form a things which is also called as diplontic life cycle. So we have seen it. It is a sequential process which is, it is moved from one generation to another generation, which is also called life cycle. Life cycle, it is haplontic, diplontic, haplobiontic, that is also isomorphic and heteromorphic, and haplobiontic and diplobiontic life cycle which is occur in the organisms. So thank you so much friends for watching this video.